Good morning, maker friends. I hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic day today. We're going to let everybody hop on here with us. I don't want anybody to miss out on what I'm going to be showing y'all today because y'all, as you can probably see in the background, we're going to be having a Christmas in July celebration. Are you one of these people that celebrates Christmas in July? I have to admit, I've always done a little bit for Christmas in July, but I did not know the story or the reason why we actually celebrate Christmas in July. You might want to look that up because it was pretty super interesting. It wasn't at all what I thought it was. But I myself take the time in July to sort of do some of those crafting projects that I don't have time because the holidays are so super crazy. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today for y'all. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Carrie and I run a YouTube channel called Mama Dares to DIY. I do a lot of super easy and creative stuff over there. So if that's the kind of stuff you're into, head over there after our live this morning and check that out. Also, y'all, let me know, are you joining me live this morning or are you catching us on a replay? And I don't want anybody to miss out on the giveaway that Amy's going to be doing for us this morning. So if you want to be entered, just drop a couple of your friends' names down in those comments below, and one lucky winner is going to win some awesome prizes from a maker studio. So you can see in my background, I kind of have a thing for Santa Clauses. I don't know why, I just love them. I live at the beach, so I do a ton of decorating with turquoise. It's all over my house. It's in everything that I do because it's definitely my favorite color. But around Christmas time, I love to throw a little bit of red in there. So you ready to see my inspiration for this project, y'all? This is my Gingerbread Santa. He is so adorable. He's definitely one of my favorite pieces that I own. I do a lot of red and turquoise decorations in my kitchen at Christmas time just because the color combination is just so striking and it's a little bit untraditional, and I think that's what I love about it the most. So I'm going to be making a sign to go on to my pantry door because I don't have one. My pantry door is so bare at Christmas. So the stencil that I'm going to be using today is going to make that sign happen. So you ready to see the workspace? Let's hop on there now and let's get started. Okay, y'all, here is our stencil. Isn't it absolutely awesome? We've got Merry Christmas, we've got Holly and Jolly, we've got another Merry Christmas, Joy to the World, Santa's Cookies, and also look at this awesome border here. I love this stencil. There's so many possibilities that I can see just looking at this stencil, and my wheels have not even started turning yet. What do you see yourself doing with this? So let me get the finished size for you. It's going to be 18 by 24. That's what this entire thing is. Which one of these is your favorite so far? Which one is hopping out to you? You can probably guess I'm going to be using the one that says Santa's Cookies today. So I do have a lot that I'm not going to be using, and I don't have my workspace. I don't want it to be too crowded. So I'm just going to take my scissors really quickly and just go ahead and cut out this awesome border, which you really can't see because it's so big. So I'm going to cut the border out, and I'm also going to do the Santa's Cookies. And the other ones we're going to save for a different project. Now, when you open up your stencils, you want to be sure that you save the plastic sleeve. And also the backer board here. And also, we're going to keep this all together in that one plastic sleeve. So I'm just going to cut this off right here. And I'm also going to cut out the Santa's Cookies. Now, the Santa's Cookies you can keep as one whole piece so that the whole thing goes like this, or you can even cut right here and you can stack Santa's Cookies. How cute would it be to take an old cookie tin that you don't use anymore, you know, a big cookie sheet, and do the Santa's Cookies on that? Put a little string on it and then hang that up as a decoration. Wouldn't that be cute? The more I look at these stencils, the more my wheels are just a-turning. Okay, so let's move our scissors out of the way and let me show you the surface that we're going to be working on today. Y'all, I'm going to be doing a reverse canvas technique. This is a canvas that I picked up from Michael's, and it's roughly a roughly a 10 by 20 size, and it's perfect for our Santa cookies. If you are not familiar with how a reverse canvas works, it is super duper easy. Basically, we're going to take the frame that is holding the canvas together and we're going to move it on the outside. We're going to put our canvas on the back, and that is going to be an instant frame. So we're going to turn it from a canvas into a framed picture. I've gone ahead before we hopped on this morning and I've just cut the back away. I like to just take my X-Acto knife and just sort of cut around the edge, and then I'll go back later and I'll pull off all of these staples. So once we get our canvas off of the frame, look what it looks like on the other side. See how neat that is? If you wanted to, you can definitely take some wood filler and you can fill in the edges if your frame does have some of those edges, but honestly, I'm totally not worried about it. So watch what this is going to look like. I'm going to stain the outside of my frame with my Amy Howard at Home gel stain in the color English Walnut. I absolutely love this English Walnut color, and if you've never worked with Amy's gel stain before, you are totally in for a treat because it is fantastic. So we're going to stain the outside of this first, but I'm going to go ahead and take a tiny little pencil and I'm going to mark around the edges just on the inside so I'll know where to place my frames or my stencils. So I'll mark the outside edge and the inside edge. I'm not much of a measurer. I usually just like to eyeball it, but sometimes we have to measure things. Now when I take my pencil on the inside, I don't want it to show because I'm not going to be painting this canvas. So I want to just lightly go on the inside where it's not going to be seen. Have you ever worked with the gel stain before? Y'all, if you haven't, you must try it. It's from Amy Howard at Home collection. But y'all, it is so awesome. It's a water-based stain, which means it's super easy cleanup. Okay, so I hope you can see. See, it's just light. I just want to be able to line it up pretty even. But before I do that, I need to go ahead and stain this. So I'm just going to move this out of the way while we stain this. Look how pretty that is. It's a really nice, rich brown. I actually own all of the colors, but this is one of my favorites. And a little bit goes a long way, so I'm just going to use what's inside the top here. Watch how easy this is to work with. We're going to put it on with our paintbrush, and then I'll just take a paper towel or a soft cotton rag and wipe off the excess. Isn't this pretty? This stain, like I said, is water-based. So you don't have to worry too much about cleanup. The cleanup is so easy. You just run some water over your brushes. I love the look of stain, but before I started working with these gel stains, I honestly dreaded it because it's such a pain to wash out your brushes, isn't it? But Amy has solved that problem for us. Now, when you're working with your stain or you're staining your frames, you want to make sure to go ahead and get inside too, and on the edges. Reverse canvases are so fun to me. Let's turn this up. So tell me, are you working on Christmas crafts for Christmas in July? Or are you working on Christmas presents? That's usually what I mainly work on. I have so many people that I want to make things for that I do need to get a head start. If I make you Christmas gifts, then you know I love you. That's my love language. So are your wheels turning yet on what you can make with this stencil? It's really a fantastic stencil. You could also use some of the smaller pieces, some of the little hollies and little snowflakes and stuff, and you can even put those on the outsides of like your Christmas balls. That way all of your decor can sort of match. And once your stain dries, the beauty of the wood underneath it really shows through. So tell me about your projects. What are you working on? Don't forget, if you want to win one of the stencils that we're working on this morning, all you've got to do is tag a couple of those friends in our comments below, and we're going to have a winner drawn for this awesome stencil. I'm all about easy when I do my projects, and I do have a miter saw and I could definitely cut my own frames, but when it's so easy to do a reverse canvas, why would I? This saves me a lot of time. And also the Dollar Tree has some canvases that are really nice size. They're not quite this big, but if you've got some smaller stencils that you want to make projects for, then those would work as well. I keep going off camera because my project is so big. Okay, so I think I've got just about everything covered. Looks like I missed just a little bit on the insides of these little pieces here. If you put some stain inside there, it kind of hides the fact that there's a hole. But if you wanted to, you could definitely fill that in with a little bit of wood filler. Just make sure your wood filler is stainable. And you can always just fill it in that way. But I usually just throw some stain in it and call it good. Okay, now we're ready to wipe it off. And I like to wipe it off on the same order that I started it in. Let's grab a paper towel. And you can also use a rag, but a paper towel works fine. We're just going to pull off that excess stain. Isn't that pretty? Now do you see why I love the English walnut? Okay. So that part is done. I'm just going to set this to the side while it dries, and we're going to work on the canvas itself. Okay, so next let's bring back our canvas. And if I wanted to, I could definitely go ahead and cut off the excess, and I will before I staple it onto the back. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So my thought for this project is to put the Santa's cookies in the center. And it's going to be close. I mean, it's going to be really, really, really close. But you can still see the edges. So I'm okay with that. I think it's going to look great. And then I'm also going to come back and put this groovy border. I've got some Love Bug that I'm going to use for the Santa's cookies. And then I'm going to use some Heavens to Betsy and also some Spring in My Step for the border. Now, it would also be really cute if you wanted to do the blue and the red together on the Santa's cookies and sort of do like an ombre effect, but that's not really the look that I'm going for today. So I'm just going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to do it like this. I won't be able to finish that top edge just yet because I'll have to wash my stencil out before I do the top edge. So I'm just going to do the bottom first. And I won't be stapling it down either. But this is exactly why we put that line around there before we took our canvas off. Okay, so I'm going to stop on this little piece right here. I don't want anything to go over that. So that's going to be my stopping point here and here. So we're just not going to put any of our chalk art on that space. One thing that is super important, especially when you're working with canvas, you want to make sure that you burnish it in. You can prep this canvas if you want to, if you want more of a smoother look. But to be honest, I really like the way painted canvases look. But if you're more comfortable, you want that smoother look, then just prime your canvas with some gesso to sort of fill in all of those areas, and you'll have a smoother look. We are going to burnish in this stencil really, really well though. So I want to do my Heavens to Betsy on the bigger edge, and then the lighter Spring in My Step, I want that to be on the top edge. So let's start first with the Spring in My Step. And I'm going to be using the plastic spreaders today. I love the silicone spreaders, but when I'm working with the chalk art, I just really like the way that these harder spreaders work. Let's do a little test over here on the part we're not going to use, just to see what it's going to look like. It's going to look great. Okay, one last burnish before I get started. And we're ready to go. And I'm just going to load up that stencil, or load up my little spreader here, and just drag it. If you're not comfortable, or if you're afraid you're going to get some of this onto something that you don't want it on, you can take some of your blue painter's tape and you can definitely tape off that area. Okay, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? So now we're going to go in with the Heavens to Betsy, and we're going to do the same thing. I need to remember to not go past this part here, so I'm actually going to start on this end. I love how simple it is to work with all of our products from a maker studio, but I also love the result that you get. A great look does not have to be difficult, does it? Can you see the color difference there? It's just a slight difference, but I do think you'll be able to tell the difference. I've got one little piece right here that I did not double check to make sure it went all the way through. So let's just put a little bit more there. And we need to make sure we wash out our stencil really, really well so that we can reuse it over again. We're going to put it back on that backer board that we took it off of, and that way it's sure that we can use it again. Okay, so now let me move this just a little bit closer so I can get it centered up. Now we're going to do the same thing with our Santa's cookies. Because this is a little bit larger of a stencil, let's take the paper though. I'm going to make sure I've got this centered. And that's going to be the paper. And now we'll center this up between those two. And it needs to come over just a slight bit, but not too much. And if it's easier for you to get out your tape measure, then guess what? You can definitely do that. Okay. Let's burnish in. And because this is sort of a larger stencil, I'm going to work on the Santas first, and then I'm going to come back with the cookies, and I'm going to peel that Santa's up first, and then I'll come back and peel the cookies up. I don't really like for my paint to dry in the stencil. Sometimes I feel like it can kind of stick or pull up the paint. So that's why I like to do it in two sections. We do, however, need to make sure that it's burnished in really, really well. I know it seems maybe like a silly step, but this is how you're going to get no bleeds. And again, if you're not comfortable, you can definitely go and tape off with some blue painter's tape if you so desire. And that just looks something like this. You don't need much. I usually don't worry too much about it though. And you can work on one letter at a time if you want to, if that makes you a little bit more comfortable. And I'll show you what that looks like. The main thing you don't want to do though is to let that paint dry. So if you're kind of seeing a little bit of your paint pull up, then just try doing smaller sections. And do you hear the scraping? I'm not sure if you can hear that scraping sound or not. That's the sound we want to hear. That's how we know that we're pushing all of this paint through the stencil. Don't forget, y'all, somebody is going to win our prize today. Is it going to be you? The only way you'll know is if you enter. So don't forget to drop a couple of friends, tag them in our comments below, and tell them to jump on here with us this morning at A Maker's Studio and check out what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. Look how amazing that looks. So I'm not going to pick the cookies up, so this is going to be a little bit tricky, but because it's so easy to work with, you're not going to mess it up. And you can leave the whole thing down, but you just have to work super fast. Isn't this red beautiful? This is called Love Bug, and that is actually what I call my daughter. That's her nickname, is Love Bug. Let me know today, are you watching this live or are you catching the replay? That's one thing that I love hearing. Aren't these lives so much fun? Have y'all learned a lot since we started doing these? I love watching the other gals do their lives because I learn something new from them every time I watch. Let me turn this around just a little bit. The beauty of live. Everybody sees when you mess up. No pressure, right? Okay, friends. I think we are ready to take it up. Ta-da! Y'all, look how cute that is. Isn't it precious? It matches our cute little Santa Claus. I can't wait to get my stencil washed out for the border edge and get the top layer done. And then I can go ahead and staple my reverse canvas back to my frame. Let me grab the frame. So this is what it's going to look like. And I'm not going to be able to finish it on our live this morning because it would make it too difficult to put that other piece in right there. But if you've never done a reverse canvas before, all you do is flip it over and you're going to take your little staple gun and you're just going to staple your edges to your frame. And y'all, that's done. That's how easy it is to do a reverse canvas using our Maker Studio stencil. Don't forget, if you want to check out this brand new stencil for your very own, it's called Let's Talk Christmas. I cannot wait to get this all together so you can see what it's going to look like. I also think it would be super cute if you wanted to. You can put in some of this red and white striped ribbon, maybe even some little Christmas, what do you call this? Holly bush stuff. I don't know what it's called, but I think it would be super stinking cute to maybe put in the corners. You could maybe even put a hanger at the top that goes onto the back. But y'all, look how cute it's gonna look with my Christmas Santa Claus. It's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna love in my kitchen. What do you think about our project? Isn't that so cute? Here, let's turn it like this so you can see. Now, there we go. Okay, y'all, what do you think about our project? Do you love it? Don't you think the red and the turquoise together is such an awesome color combination? I can't wait to get this project finished, get it hung up on my pantry door so I can post my pictures for y'all to see how it turned out. I can't wait for Christmas this year. I'm really excited to put up my new decorations. I'd love to know what you're working on. And also don't forget, if you want to be entered into our giveaway today, all you've got to do is tag a couple of your friends in the comments below and one lucky person is going to take on this awesome stencil from a Maker Studio. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for our Christmas in July celebration, my friends. Until next time, happy DIYing, y'all.